Hi, welcome to the second episode of your GKS Besties. I am your host Rahila, a fellow 2021 GKS Scholar. And in this series, we will interviewing students in different universities and ask about their challenges and their journey living in Korea in their specific university. So they will give you more information about the university. And today we have a very special guest from SKKU and from Kenya. So, can you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Linda. I'm also a GKS from the batch of 2021. Rahila and I were in the same language school, and that's how we know each other. So we've known each other since we met in 2022 when we were starting language school. I'm in SKKU. I'm currently in my fourth and final year of civil engineering. So yay to graduation soon, hopefully.
Yeah, last year.
But yeah, so I hope I'm able to give you as much information as I can, and I hope that everything we say here today will be helpful to somebody out there.
Yeah. So, can you tell us more about your scholarship journey and how you get to know about this scholarship?
Well, it's actually a very funny way about how I came to know about the scholarship, because it was when was COVID? 2020?
Yeah, it was 2020.
It was 2020, and like there was nothing. I was just at home, we were all being quarantined, and at that time I just started like getting into like K-pop and like K-drama. I wasn't really into that very much, but I was just like, oh, you know what? This is an interesting language. I liked a few K-dramas. I thought they were interesting and funny. So I was like, oh, okay, like South Korea seems cool,
Yeah.
And after high school, like I had just finished high school in 2019. So I was home yet. I'd still not transitioned into university. So I was just basically like doing nothing at all. But during COVID times, my high school, they had this program where like one person would take like it was called Bush Journal, I think. They'd take like the Snapchat account for the day and they'd just talk about their life. And it so happened that one of the people who was given that opportunity was a girl called Coco, and she was here in Korea in GKS. And I was like, oh, is this someone telling me something? Because I literally just learned about South Korea, and I've literally just been interested like just the other day. And at this point, I think I had started teaching myself like Hangul, like just basic Hangul. That's all I had learned at that point. And I was like, you know what, like I'm really not doing anything else at that time. And I was like, it wouldn't hurt to try. So she like some other people had also asked her about the scholarship. So I just followed the information that they were doing. I did embassy track. So I just went to my embassy's website, found the notice, got all the documents. Like, figured out like, oh, this is what I need to do. This is all that I'm going to be needing. And that's just how I learned about it.
Yeah, and the guidelines is also so detailed.
Yeah.
If you just read it, you will get to know all
They tell you everything that you're gonna need, how to
the
structure everything, the timings. That's actually like, it was pretty helpful. Like, in terms of that, like I had no difficulties. Like, in the applications, not really. Yeah.
Yeah, in the guidelines you all can find all the things you need. And did you had any difficulty preparing your documents, or there was something?
I think that the only thing I hadn't done was my certificates were not certified. What? Not certified.
It's like authorized.
Yeah, authorized. Yeah, by the board and everything. So I just had to go do that for all of them. And like, or do you mean like in terms of like writing my study plan and
at all, like from the people from Kenya that like preparing? So
well, when I was writing my personal statement and my study plan, I would say like most of it I wrote on my own, and then like I just had an uncle who'd also like gone to study abroad, and he'd done all these things about writing essays and everything. He was like, just like, okay, just you write them, and then I'm gonna proofread for you, and if there's anything that you need to change the structure, I'm gonna help you through it. So that's all he did. Like he was just like giving me guidelines, like I think this should be like this would sound much better if you put it like this. And for my letters of recommendation, I went to my favorite teachers from high school. Like I was close to, there's two teachers I was really close to, and I felt comfortable, going to ask them for like a recommendation, and that they would also like do a good job, and they'd take it seriously as well, not just as something.
Because those really matters.
Yeah, they really do. Because also like I didn't see them. I personally didn't see the letters because they tell you it should be sealed by the. So you should go to someone you really trust, like they have your best interest at
because
heart.
you can't read what they're
yeah, you can't read what they're writing, and if someone doesn't really wish the best for you, you never know, they can sabotage you like that. So finding someone that you can really trust for that was like a big thing as well. So actually, when I was applying for the scholarship, I told my desk mate from high school, because she was also interested in South Korea, and I was like, oh hey, like, do you want to apply together? So at least I wasn't alone in the whole process. Like we were both doing it like step by step. And by the time we were supposed to be submitting our applications, I had started like online classes for university in Kenya. So I had been accepted into architecture school.
In Kenya?
Yeah, in Kenya. That's what I was doing. But at that point, COVID was still a little bit shaky, so we were still doing like online classes. And I remember that, I literally remember, because this was like Hangul Nal, like the September, the holiday. So when I was reading like the guidelines, I think I misread the date for submitting the documents. And one time I was just in the afternoon, I was in class, and something just told me like, you know what, go back to the website, like just check something. And then I go check, and it's like submission is by Friday. This is on Wednesday afternoon. Submission is by Friday, but Friday is a holiday because it's Hangul-nar in Korea. So the embassy is going to be closed. So the only other day I had to submit was Thursday. And I didn't have my recommendations yet from my teachers. I hadn't gone for them yet. So we had to call them, and we were like, oh my gosh, like, would it be ready by tomorrow? Like, they had already started doing it. So all we had to do was like pretty much go and pick them up like from school. They had sealed and everything, but then we were just like, oh my gosh, like, this is crazy. So I called my friend, I'm like, yo, we misread the dates, like we have to submit this by
the same?
Yeah, she'd also thought the same thing. So we're just like, we have to submit this by tomorrow, like tomorrow by embassy closes at 5 p.m. We have to have gone to the embassy. So we went to school first. We got our recommendations, and actually while we were waiting for our recommendations, she was like polishing her personal statement and like just fixing a few things. And then we like really rushed to the embassy. We got to the embassy, we made sure we've printed all our stuff, and there was other people as well, like just like documents and all that. And then right before it was closing, we were able to submit our documents.
The last day?
Yeah, literally it was like 30 minutes to them closing or something is when we were like, okay, we're done, like we can now apply, we can just give them. So we did that, and then kind of just went about school just regularly. Like I was hopeful, but then I also didn't want to get my hopes like way too high and like be very disappointed. And again, the call came when I was in class, an online class again. We didn't have like our videos on, so I was just like, Korean embassy? And I was like, Korean embassy is calling me. So I answered the call, and they're like, hi, you've been shortlisted for the interview. This is when your interview is, like, please come in. And I was so happy. I was so excited. My mom was so happy. She literally went out to buy me a suit. She's like, you're gonna need to look your very, very best on this. So interview rolls around. I go, I'm looking so nice in my suit.
Yeah.
My suit looking so professional. And I think that's also like a really, really important thing, the way you present yourself at the interview.
Yeah.
Because my friend and I, we were dressed up like, looking so smart, so official. And I think there was also some other people, like they'd just come in like jeans and like, regular.
Yeah.
You see,
it is like interview.
You can,
Take
it's
it
an
like as the
interview.
interview of like,
Exactly. Like if you show up like wearing jeans and someone else is wearing a suit, it shows like your level of seriousness is like totally different. Of course, they're gonna take you to people as they're gonna treat you differently.
and they're also like Koreans. If you see like Korean when they are going to interview,
Yeah,
they
have
about
a way
they care about
dress.
how they are like the cleanliness and like the way they are like dressing.
That's
it should
true.
be all, and there are Koreans who are having those things back in their countries too. So you need to present a very like with the suit, clean, like so formal,
So neat, so everything.
Yeah.
So I was a bit nervous for my interview because I ended up being second. Like, they arranged us like they're like, okay, this person is going first, you're second, blah blah blah. I was second.
Oh, you could see the other people?
Yeah, because at first, like before the interviews, we were all like in the same like lounge. We were all seated together. Like we met each other like as people were coming in, and then we were all sat in a lounge. And then they arranged it. They're like, okay, so this is your like sunto, like this is who is going to go first, blah blah blah, like that. And then like, so I remember I was just sitting like outside the door to the first person had gone in, and I was like shaking, and the secretary was there, and she was just like, calm down, like you're gonna do okay, like just calm down, like take a breath.
Yeah, that is so.
It helped me a lot. Like it helped me like kind of get out of my head. And she's like, I was holding documents, and she's like, you don't need them. They have your documents. Like just
they have
leave this here. Like she helped me calm down a lot. And I went into the interview. It was actually, they were so nice.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like, those people just trying to make it hard for you unnecessarily. Like they were just interested in like why I'm
in
choosing
paper
career.
you're like this.
I want to see
Yeah.
you like now you answer and everything. And they just, I feel like there's only one question I couldn't answer. But it wasn't also like, I felt a bit bad at the time, but it was also like not that much of a big deal because like they'd ask me like, oh, if you're going to be doing civil engineering in Korea, like what are the things you've seen in Korea that are really good, like in terms of architecture, in terms of like the building. And I was like, oh, I love the Incheon airport and the bridges. I know you have a lot of bridges over the Han River. And they're like, do you know any names of the bridges? Even now, I don't know any names of the bridges. Yeah. So I was just like, I was just like, that was like hard. But they also like didn't make me feel better about it. They're just like, oh, it's okay if you don't know the name. But at least they could see like I was still interested in it, and like I knew some like points about things I was interested in. The other parts, like they just asked me like, do you think you'd be able to adapt to Korea, like living
That
in
is
a
so
whole
important
other
question.
in a whole other country? And for me, my answer was a bit simple. Like I didn't think I had a problem with it because I was just like, in high school, like well, in Kenya there's many tribes, and in things like school and everything, you learn to live with someone from different cultures, people who are different from you. So you always have to adapt to live with others, adapt to live in new environments and all that. So the questions were just basic because actually they didn't really ask me a lot about like my education and all, because that's in my study plan, that's in my personal statement. They have all of that. So they were just basically asking me about like now my future, like if I get this scholarship, like what's your way forward, like what are you gonna be, like what's your plan, like have a sense of like I'm going to study this, like how is Korea gonna be, how do I expect to adapt in Korea? How do I think being away from my family is gonna be like, that kind of thing. That was okay. And like, after the interview, like I think a week later or like the next week, I got a call again. They're saying that, you've passed, so now we're gonna pass your documents on to the schools and we'll give you the responses. And that's what took like a bit more time. That took a bit more longer, and that's when I was getting like, I would say a bit anxious because it was taking more time and I was stressed because of school. Because of architecture. and like I had so much work, and I don't know, I was getting stressed. So I would refresh my email like every 5 minutes. I'm like, guys, where's your response? Like, tell me I have this. Like, I don't want to do this work anymore. But I think the end of, I would say sometime in October, November is when like, we got responses from the schools. I had 3 schools. I had SNU, Seoul National University, SKKU, and Gyeongbuk in, because we had to do the 2 and then the 1 outside Daegu.
What is from A, from B part, A part.
So I got into SKKU and the Gyeongbuk. Gyeongbuk was the first one to actually respond to me, and they also had like a phone call interview. Like they just told me, oh, like, are you gonna be available for a call? I was like, yeah, and then they're like, yeah, we just wanna like a short interview. So it also depends on some schools. Some schools like once they just accept you, it's done. But then some have like their own process. So for me, like, I just had he was also really friendly. Like, it wasn't like too difficult. It was just on the phone, like, hi, like, kind of just like I feel like it's just them like, and making sure like the person who they have the documents, like kind of just getting to know if it's the same person, like, I don't know, but it wasn't like a difficult thing to do. And I ended up going with SKKU.
Yeah, and like the interview, if you don't stress out and just go, okay, these guys want to know me a bit more, to that kind of mindset, it will be easier. Like they'll not ask like so like hard questions to put you like in a difficult situation. They'll be just like, oh, you're going to Korea, it's gonna be like different culture, different foods, and how you're okay with that. What is your way of like adapting to that, and more of like knowing you more socially too. So just I had some people like messaging me about like which questions they asked us, but it's
going to be different for everybody.
It's gonna be different, but if you know Korea, and if you know like your interest and how you got interested into Korea, those things you can just be honest and just tell those stuff. Because one thing they asked me like if I like Korean dramas and stuff, and if I have watched any movies. And that time I watched like Parasite, and I said like, yeah, I watched that. And they asked me like, they asked me like, do you know the director of the film, like if you're interested like in that and like that stuff. I was like, no, I don't like, but I really like how he presented the movie, and like it was showing this like what was my perspective of the movie. So yeah, they are trying to know more about like which part of the career you are more interested in. So everyone has different stories. Just get to know more about that, and you'll be fine. Just if you're not stressed, confident.
Yeah, confidence.
Yeah, and you show them like, I'm going to Korea. It is like one country, but I'm gonna be fine. If you show that, I think that is one of the important thing they want to see from the candidates. So, going to the universities. So you chose SNU, you chose SKKU, and Gyeongbuk, right? What was your criteria of like choosing universities back then?
Basically, I was researching, of course, based on my major and what I wanted to do. So I was just looking at like would I say like in general, like the construction environment. So that's like architecture, architectural engineering, civil engineering, that kind of like.
Tell us more about your criteria of choosing universities. So you said you chose SNU, you chose SKKU, and also Gyeongbuk. So what things you considered applying, and also how did you find like those information?
Well, I was interested in like the construction environment, so architecture, architectural engineering, civil engineering. So when I was going into looking for schools, I was basically just, looking at the schools that have they provide the best environment for that. Like you've seen people succeeding, people have a good chances of getting jobs, like people have been, like, providing good education in that field. So honestly, I just went online. I was just
To their websites?
first of all, I just Googled like a list of
Universities
universities
for architecture.
engineering. First, I just said like engineering and everything, and then I went to like specifics. Like they now give you the websites for the schools, and then like I went to the specific departments that I wanted to read about, and I was just like reading about all the everything that they provided, the classes that they provided. And then some schools also have like a page where you can see like the alumni sometimes. So if you can find maybe a place where alumni from your department are
You
talking
mean
about.
foreigners or?
No, sometimes it's just Koreans as well, but like they'd still give you like a rough idea of like is with this degree like how is like graduating in Korea, did they find jobs easily, is this a major that's popular in Korea, is this a major that has a lot of opportunities there or even outside in other countries, so that's a little, those are things that you should look for when you're trying to decide which universities to apply to.
Yeah.
And also sometimes you can check the competition rate, I'd say. Not competition rate, but like there's some schools that you just know are hard to get into. They might be
Yeah.
good, but they're difficult to get into.
Skies are hard to
Yeah,
get into because
they are. So sometimes it's also just good like to know yourself and like to measure yourself and just be like, you know what? Sometimes of course like it's good to always like shoot beyond the stars and just be like, yeah, you know what, I can get it. But also sometimes like just do it within your limits as well, because maybe sometimes you might limit your own opportunities when trying so hard to get into
Yeah.
only the best, because you're really trying to only get into the top schools. But knowing your strengths is one of the major things, like knowing that, okay, if I'm being realistic, this school might be hard to get into, but this other school is also really good and my chances of getting into it are way higher.
Yeah.
Then that's like more of a sure thing. And especially like embassy track, once you pass the interviews, if you only need at least one school to accept
To
you,
accept you,
so
to accept
so
back.
for you to get everything right. But if it's like university track, you really have to, you can't just rely on
Just
one
one confident shoot. That's it.
No, you should have like you should be confident in a bunch of options, because you don't have anything like to kind of back you like that. So yeah, that was how I chose the
Universities.
yeah.
So let's go to SKKU, and you have been studying there for 3 years now. Can you give us more about information about your journey in SKKU?
Yeah. So I think for foreigners especially, there's like two different ways like you can go in. There's like the Korean track and there's like the English track. So English track, I mean, it's pretty regular. Anyways, one thing that's special about SKKU is that during your first year, you basically don't have a major.
It's like generally
It's like
studying.
general. At the end of the year is when you can choose to change. So even if you get there and you're still not decided, you at least know you have like a year to
think
fully
more.
decide on what side you want to go to. But for some departments like architecture and like electrical engineering, those ones they go directly. They don't have the 1 year, because I think they have a bit more, because architecture is 5 years, so they don't really have the 1 year extended. Like they just go directly into the majors, and like they have their kyoyangs like decide, the liberal arts classes decided as well. But if you're like, for me, because I was going into the Department of Architecture, Civil and Landscape Engineering. So I was like konga keor, engineering. I don't know what keor is in English. But anyways, they just know like your direction is engineering.
Yeah.
So they'll just tell you like on your roadmap, like you need to be listening to some general classes like physics, chemistry labs, calculus, like those like creative design classes that are required. Some are assigned programming, just basic like, Python, and this one for C. So but because I was Korean track, now for Korean track, it's kind of different. Like you're assigned some Korean classes because I think they also decide like, maybe there's some departments where they know like more classes are gonna be in Korean than in English. So they try to kind of equip you with,
To be more
skills for listening in class. So you have again like pure presentation, you have reading, you have listening, and these ones are like a bit more university centered.
Yeah, based on their
Yeah, it's like even like the listening class was like you listen to something and it's like take short notes. Like that's like what you're learning in class, how to take notes and listen to your professors in Korean, things like that. The reading is a bit more comprehensive now, because they expect you to be going into your major, and obviously like Korean that you learn in language school and Korean you use in school are totally different things, because of course academic. In school is academic language, it's professional language. There's going to be words that are specific to each major because that's where they're used,
Yeah.
And it's not used in regular like
life
at all. So it's like you're learning a whole new language again. That's one other thing. So for my department, I don't really have as many English classes as I would like. If I was asked, of course, I'd want like all my classes to be in English. Would be so much easier.
So if you take English track, most of your classes are in English?
For English track, most of the people who are in English track, you'd find like they're in majors like mechanical engineering, I think electrical a little bit, because they have a bit more English classes.
So it's not like completely English.
It's not completely English. You might
even if you're English track.
Exactly, you might be English track, but maybe you might just find like the professor who does that classes in English is not opening that class this semester, but you need it, so you have to listen to it in Korean,
Yeah, even
sometimes
if
just
you're
ends up like that.
English track, you need to make your Korean so well.
Honestly, you need the Korean skills. I would definitely say
whatever track
you are, you need the Korean skills. Because I do have a friend who came on another scholarship, and they didn't have the language school like we did, you see.
They just started.
So he just started like that, right? And at first, like he'd find English classes and all that, but then it would reach some semesters, it's only Korean classes available, and he's never learned Korean. So it's, difficult, like so difficult. And that's engineering. Like it's not even like an easy course.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke. But yeah, so for 1 year I did the Korean track, and I was just listening to like some of the Korean, some more classes in Korean, blah blah blah. And then at the end of the first year is when I was finally deciding my major. And in first year I was between architectural engineering and civil engineering. Like I wasn't sure where I was gonna land. And I think it's really good to have like mentors or people you can talk to about like your stuff, because my friend's dad is in like the construction industry, and like I was just talking to him like, I'm thinking between architectural engineering and civil engineering, and he really like gave me a perspective between the two things, and he's like, oh, this is disadvantages, these are the disadvantages of both. If you want to come back and work in Kenya, you'd need this and this and this, and that kind of helped me come to a decision. And I ended up going with civil engineering, which is funny because my older brother did civil engineering as well. So I ended up going with civil engineering, and now it comes to second year, and now you have major classes.
Yeah.
And it's such a big change from having a whole year with just Korean classes, which are basically liberal arts classes, to where I have to take like 5 major classes and all were in Korean.
Yeah.
And I only had like 1 liberal arts class.
Engineering students can understand what we are talking about.
My first, like second year, first semester, like I would say was like my worst semester ever because I didn't know how to balance it, you know? Like all of a sudden I was taking Korean classes for a year, but the level of like not seriousness, but like content is so different. There I was just learning Korean, the language, you know, and reading and listening. Second year, I'm learning force and pressure and weight and all these things, but in Korean. And like, it was just like...
And also it's like this, like the teacher is talking about this subject and like suddenly there is a word that you don't know and the whole context you can't understand because you don't know that
one word.
Yeah, that word. So it's gonna build up like that, and you at the end of the day you will be coming out of the class and you don't have like, you might have like maybe a few % of the class you understood, but like for engineering you need 100% and more. Yeah. At least like you have the full understanding of like the context, what it is, so that you can go and like just reread it, re-understand it by yourself. But if you don't know then those words, you need to go and start from like 0 or like from the 10% that you already understand.
Like the number of times I had to go like redo a class afterwards, especially that first semester, because I wasn't used to it, like was like just a lot. Because you know, I also had to do like, so pre-studying before the class, I have to read.
Yeah.
I go to class
because you
listen.
You want to understand those words.
Yeah, I want to understand what the professor is going to be talking about. I go to class, I listen. And then after class, there's still some things I didn't pick up in class. So I have, like, you have to work so much.
It's kind of 3
times harder than you would regularly. Because if it was just in English,
it's just like,
you know, in English, I can also like passively listen. If I'm not concentrating, but still, you know, you're kind of understanding even if like but for Korean, I have to be active. I have to be consciously, paying attention for me to understand. Because if 1 minute I look out the window, come back,
then it slipped. I've
missed a whole. Like coming back and catching the flow is not as easy, you know, as English, which is like one of my first languages. You know, Korean is like my third language, and I'm doing a whole engineering course in my third language. It's just crazy. But like, like it's a lot of work, but I would say that the one thing that I was blessed with is like very kind professors. Like all the professors I've had were like so kind. When I tell them like I'm having trouble with this, they're like, oh, there's this other resources, like you can use this, you know, come for office hours, like this. Sometimes, you know, a lot of times I just go to the professor and be like, hi professors, like, is there like an English textbook I can find? Are there English resources you would advise me to use before class, after class? All my professors have been so kind. They've let me do exams in English.
Yeah, guys,
all of them. You ask them, like, never be afraid to ask. Just be like, professor, like, this is difficult for me, and it's not like you're asking them to teach in English. You're not asking them to teach. I always just be like, I will do my best. I understand Korean, of course not 100%. I'm doing my best. You can teach like your class in Korean, but all I'm asking is that for me to be able to express myself well in exams and to write my thoughts and my answers comprehensively, can I please take my exam in English? You know, just be very respectful about it. Just go being humble, like just ask nicely, and they actually just let you do it. Because even I had a lab class that we were supposed to be writing reports, and we just asked the professor, like, can we please write it in English?
I did the same.
And he let us, like, so just always ask, don't just sit there and suffer.
Yeah.
Like,
Ask
you
for
don't need
help.
to. You can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, some of the classes that I see that is like completely Korean and I need to study all by myself, so I study them in English, so it's easier for me to just take the exam in English.
Yeah.
And I always, like, if the class is hard and if the thing has more of like writing, like literally you write about it a lot, so I just go like in at the first orientation, after it's done, I go to the professor and I ask like if the exam can be in English, or if it's possible he provide the English paper.
Yeah.
If not, there are some professors that they will be like, no, it's not possible. But there is like the third stage, like you will ask like if it's like, even if the questions are in Korean, can I
write
answer in English?
Yeah.
And most of them, like I'm also doing like it's my 4th year. Most of the professors are okay, like at least with one of them. So you just go there to their like in the orientation after finish, like just ask them, and they will most of them, they will tell you like just email me before the exams and I will provide you with the English one. And that's making, if it's you're coming with engineering, that will make your life so much easier.
Yeah, I just think like don't sit there and suffer in silence. Like,
Yeah,
just ask for help.
they are
Like,
such nice professors.
there are,
I had so nice professors too.
honestly, I would say like all the professors I've had in my department have been so nice. They've been so nice.
Yeah, and they are just making the whole paper in English just for you.
Yeah, a lot of times, like I think there's only one class where it was like the questions were still in Korean and I could answer in English. But that was because the textbook was one we bought in school. Like it was in school and he was getting questions exactly the way they were from the textbook, and it's like fill in the blank. So he's like, I know it might be a bit difficult, but because the questions are coming the way they are in the textbook, you're gonna have to like have the questions still. Like if I translate it, you wouldn't know what I'm saying. Yeah. So but then he was still like, oh, you know what, just you can still write your answers in English, just
because Koreans are good at understanding the English. Like they
Yeah.
are good in like English exams and stuff. The only thing is like they're speaking, but the understanding is
the
like,
understanding
okay.
is okay. It's actually so okay.
So that's why they will be okay with like providing you with the English paper. Just ask them. It doesn't matter. Like if they don't like accept, at least you tried.
Yeah, you tried. You can see.
Yeah, otherwise it will be like the whole pressure. Oh my god, doing all things in Korea.
Because I have like sometimes I have trouble like translating my thoughts into Korean. Like, you know, sometimes I know the answer
It
and
goes
I
somewhere
can
else.
I can explain it so well in English, but then when it comes to Korean, I'm just like, it's not gonna make sense.
Exactly.
So always just ask. So yeah, I don't know, engineering I feel is like obviously like a very difficult major to do in a different language that you're not.
It's difficult in your own language.
Yeah,
girl.
it's difficult in English. Like in English, it's totally difficult. Even if you give me engineering in Kiswahili, something that I've spoken my whole entire life, I still wouldn't know because I don't know those technical words and everything. So in general, like it's a pretty difficult thing to do. But then again, it's also like worthwhile. And my professors have been very fair. Like even like in grading and everything, they've been so fair. Like I've never felt like I've been treated like differently in class. Nothing like that. If it's Sangde Pyangka, it's for everyone. Everyone is just Sangde, like relative grading. We have that, like where you're graded
based
on your peers as well. So we always.
Yeah, they have like in Korea you have Sangde Pyongka, and what is the other one? One is like relative,
Cholte?
one is
Cholte
absolute relative
Yeah.
grading and absolute grading. Like in relative grading, for example, the classes will be like, okay, 10% of the class can get only A+. Like whoever, if you have smart people in your class, you're in trouble. But it's all
also
smart.
But also the good thing about relative grading is if everyone is failing, then you're fine.
Yeah.
Because let's say the highest person has a 50, then A starts from 50.
Yeah, that is. But it's rare.
But it's rare. It's so
It's totally rare because
girl, do you know engineering classes? Sometimes engineering, you see a grade in other majors, it would be like, oh my gosh, you failed. In engineering, you're like, You did so good.
Yeah, it's
Just, girl, depends.
yeah. But I don't know. Like in our uni, they are so smart. I can say. I can like that. They
Yeah,
are smart.
honestly, Koreans are very smart.
I mean, they are so good with exams. They are so good with exams. So, okay, let me ask you, like, do you recommend SKKU for your major?
Oh yeah, very much. I feel like all the professors in my department are so learned. Like, they're so smart. Like, they're so knowledgeable in like their field. Like, they have so much for us to learn from, and like they don't just teach us sometimes about only school, but they talk to you about your field. Like, once you go out in the field, this is the way. Like, you should do this and this and this. Like, they really give you a lot of advice. And they also give us opportunities to work in the research labs, you know, as professors, they have research labs and everything. We get opportunities to work as undergrad researchers. You know, you're basically just learning from them. If you ever want to do a master's, you know, that's kind of introducing you to like that environment. They give you pocket money.
Yeah, if you
Yeah, you know, you wanna hit two birds with one stone. You get your pocket money and you're learning as well, and you're getting experience, and that's also something you can put in your CV. You know, I would really recommend it, and also as well my school for like electrical engineering, semiconductors. Semiconductor engineer. Is it semiconductor engineering? What is
semiconductor is like going
What is
to
that
the
called?
electrical engineering.
Anyways, it's kind of related, whatever, but I just know that departments for semiconductors, and also mechanical like is really good. And also, you know, like my school is in partnership with Samsung, you know. My school is Samsung's. So if you want to, like, you know, and Samsung has so many fields, like, you know, people just think it's like phones or anything. It literally has like
Samsung
construction. Even I want to, like, you know, kind of see if
so
I can
many
get an internship there or something. So, like, you know, it kind of also, being from SKKU kind of gives you like a foot in the door a little bit, because there's like a partnership with it. So really, I would honestly recommend SKKU. Like, its facilities are great. There's 2 campuses, by the way. If there's Suwon one is like the natural sciences, and the Seoul one is the humanities. So business, arts, those are in Seoul. And there's the free shuttle bus, so at least if you have classes, you need to whatever.
Yeah, like you're in Suwon because Samsung is also in Suwon. It's near.
And we have the pretty library. Yeah.
And so, what is SKKU famous for? I mean, which major is like
the most famous for?
Yeah.
I feel like
electrical engineering.
Yeah. Well, at least for foreigners, as far as I know.
They have lots of foreigners.
But then also like mechanical, there's a lot of Malaysians. Electrical, mechanical, so many foreigners as well. My department is one that barely has any foreigners. We're not as many.
Is SKKU like foreigner friendly?
Like
they have lots of foreigners.
I mean, yeah, they do. Especially these days, also like there's so many exchange students as well.
Yeah.
Like there's a
exchange
lot of
student for the engineering majors.
Yeah, they've been
because you
like
guys
recently.
are having English classes.
Recently they've been actually quite a lot of like.
Yeah, recently they are accepting lots of
foreign exchange students, like so many.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say like. Plus, anyways, so many liberal arts that are in English as well.
Yeah.
Like, it just depends on which major you're going for, what's available.
Yeah. So, being as a GKS student in SKKU, is there any like benefits you get?
Yes, we do. We have like an extra money for staying in the dorm. If you're staying in the dorm, you get extra money. And like, if you stay in one of the cheaper dorms, you're basically living there for free, because the extra
not
G1
it.
the extra money they've given you would cover that whole, like, the money you're paying for the dorm. So basically you'd only have to pay like 30,000 from your own money, so you're basically living for free if you're going to the cheaper ones. But of course, they have like more expensive rooms, like
Yeah, if you
better
want one room or like who you want to
better rooms. Yeah, like the one that's like you're basically not paying anything is like one of the older buildings, you know, like the older buildings, they have like the communal showers. They're very clean, actually. They're cleaned every day, like the ladies
That's
clean
just
every day.
shared.
But yeah, it's just shared. Like, you know, it's kind of just like like a bit uncomfortable. Like how you don't have a bathroom in your room. Like, so if you have to go to the bathroom, you have to go
Yeah.
out, blah blah blah. But other than that, it's quite comfortable. Like,
That is so good. I
it's
mean, like,
really good.
you know, the most amount of money you're paying in Korea is like your rent,
Where you're
or
living.
your rent, or if you're living in dormitory, the dormitory.
For
But if it's
real.
SKKU is giving you more like money for
Extra, yeah.
that, envy you guys.
For
We
like
don't
the
have that.
other newer buildings, you just have to pay more, and you have options. You know, there's 2 people, 1 room. There's 6 people, 3 rooms. So there's 3 different rooms, and everyone like two, two, two. I think that one is like the double decker one. And then there's 4 people, 1 room. There's 3 people, 3 rooms. Everyone has, that's pricey, one of the priciest ones. There's 4 people, 4 rooms, another pricey one. You know,
So you get money wherever you live. You get money, that extra money.
you still get the extra money as long as you're in the dorm. It's up to you what room you want to go into. You're the one who's paying like the extra difference, right?
How much you're getting? How much you say?
If it's like in the semester, 800,000. If it's during summer, it's 400,000 because summer is cheaper.
These girls enjoying.
Yeah,
Guys, really not that. That amount of money will help you a lot.
it does, because imagine you would have been paying like, so basically
I pay a lot.
let's say if you're using that cheaper dorm, then per semester it is 800,000 won. 800,000 and like 30,000 on top won. You see, that's the cheapest dorm you can find in my school.
Yeah.
So you see, if you didn't have that extra money, then what? You get stipend is like 1,000,000 and something, right?
You
so
won't
what?
have
You just
money
get
for-
200? Like, you know, it's still like you'd have to save up a lot. So having that extra money is really, really a boost.
Yeah, but you guys, there are other universities. Most of them, they don't give you those stuff, extra money, those things. We don't have it. They don't give us anything. Do they have more? Do you guys more getting book money or like something?
Not book money.
But we get 100,000 for starting of your semester. If
Oh, for the books.
Just comparing to that money, stop.
At least like every school has something that they're giving.
They
though.
give
Yeah.
something, but some has more. I mean, like if they are helping you with the dorm, that is the biggest.
Yeah, I feel like the dorm is like the best. The fact that they help out with the dorm.
Most of your
is like,
money is just going
yeah,
there.
from the dorm.
So just not that when you're like choosing a university, that should be also one of the points. So yeah, by these interviews, I will give you guys more information, which how much amount of money.
Hidden gems.
Hidden gem. But did you know about it before applying?
No, I didn't know about
you're
it. Like when I was
lucky.
applying, I just didn't know about it. I came to know about it like afterwards, like now when they're telling us, oh, apply for the dorms, blah, 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 blah. Is when they're like, oh yeah, you get like extra support. I found out about it in language school. I didn't know that it was gonna be.
I mean, I heard some of the schools, they're just giving more money just by the university side. They're giving more money.
I don't know if that extra money we're getting is like GKS or Office of International Students in my school.
Maybe Office of
I feel like, because if it was
International
GKS, it would have been all of us, right?
It's not
But that's
GKS.
for my school. So I'm
That's
thinking
a
it's our international office in our school.
Maybe. I don't know. Because if it's NIID,
Then it would have been everyone.
it should be like the same. It's unfair. You guys are getting more money than us. It's not.
Just lucky.
Yeah, so lucky. Okay. Which dormitory you will recommend them?
If you know you want to save, then it's called Yegon, the cheapest one. Like for the girls, it's called Yeguan. For the guys, it's called Jiguan. But for the guys, like it's like really old building, right? So the showers is just like the common, like the whole, like no stall. But for the girls, thank God, there's like stalls. So you just go in, you close your stall. But for the guys, I just feel like it's just funny.
Yeah.
It's like just the whole corridor. But then that's like those are the cheapest ones, and the other new buildings they're called Shingwan.
The cheapest one is Yeguan, right?
Yeguan, yeah, for the girls, it's Yeguan.
So they are coming, like, they changed the GKS thingy, right? Like, they are coming and doing language
school there.
At the same university.
Yeah.
Oh.
I saw actually, like, I think it's called Sungkyunkwan Language Institute now.
And imagine you get that amount of money for your whole, like, language.
Oh, yeah, true, because we had to pay for our dorm, like, when
Though
in language
it was, like,
school.
cheap, but again,
It was
like,
cheap, but, you know, still.
Yeah, so guys, if you're going to SKKU, Yeguan, starting for Yeguan, then you could get
Yeah,
more.
I feel like you can always, like, start in Yeguan, and then if you don't like it and you're not comfortable with, like, having, like, the shared bathroom, then you can try, like, you know, Shinguan, like, 2 people, 1 room or whatever.
Yeah.
And the good thing is they have, like, when you're applying for the dorm, as long as you don't have any purjam,
Any
demerits.
yeah.
Is it penalty points? Yes.
Yeah,
As long as you don't have any penalty points, you can do like the dorm room application. So as long as I pick you and you pick me, we can be put in the same room.
Yeah.
So you can always end up like rooming with your friends. Yeah. Stuff like that.
Okay, like how do you apply for it? I mean, like now they have to apply all by themselves, I think. Like they have to pay. Did we pay for the dorm when we came?
Yeah.
Before any starting of. No, I mean like when we started, we paid the dorm after we got the money. Wasn't it like that?
Or like I think they just delayed. They just delayed the. What was it called? The deadline a little bit until we got our money.
But now they are like they have to pay
NIAD.
earlier.
Oh really?
Yeah, because they are, I think so, because one of my friends said like I have to pay for the dorm and how I should apply for the dorm. So when you are applying for the dorm at first, what documents you need? Is it like tuberculosis?
TB test. Yeah, you have to have the TB test.
TB test and the money for the
and the
dormitory.
Money.
I think it's
but
just
I
a
don't.
TB
Yeah,
test.
just a TB test. I don't think they actually asked me for any other documents because, anyways, you're already registered at school. But the TB test, yes, every 6 months I have to take one.
Oh, every 6 months?
Every 6 months.
Oh.
You have to submit
I haven't
one.
lived in dormitory for so long. I don't know.
Every 6 months you have to submit a TB test when you're checking in.
So if they are coming to SKKU, they're like around, they can go?
Yeah, there's like a bunch of hospitals around. Like literally when you just go there, like, oh, for dormitory. Yeah, like yeah. So they give you like the form. They know it's for the dormitory. And yeah, but you do need it. Otherwise, they don't give you your keys. Like you literally do need to have the TB test.
Yeah, and guys, those who are like coming to SKKU, she will be the consulting of the Shinip saying what they call.
Oh yes, I am a freshman advisor actually, starting from this semester. It's my first time, but when I was starting, like our office had not started this freshman advisor thing. So I really was just going in blindly. Like I had no idea what I needed to be doing. Like no idea where I needed to go to do some things. So I wanted to really just be a freshman advisor, like, you know,
help
just have someone like, even if
make
it's
it
like
easier
simple
for
things,
them.
like just, anyways, just
So
ask.
you can, I will put her socials down so you can just contact her, and also office might give the contact of her to you guys too when you come here.
Yeah.
So further informations, details, you can ask her when you got here. So, I mean, when you're applying for the scholarship, was it your first time applying for a scholarship like here?
Yeah, it was anywhere actually. This was like my first scholarship
Your first scholarship, first documents for the scholarship.
First everything, you know.
Personal statements report.
Yeah, I'd never applied for anything else before that. Because, you know, I just told you I was right out from high school. So I was just still like on my being lazy time. And then in September is when I was meant to go into uni again. And that's when I'd just applied as well.
So, I mean, when you don't have any idea about scholarship and this stuff, you don't know how to write a study plan and personal statement and what things you should do, like put and like to make it strong. So tell us more about your personal statement, how you started writing, how if a person is starting writing for the next year, how they should start.
Honestly, that was such a long time ago, and I don't even remember like what my personal statement was looking like, but I just remember like personal statement is literally what they're saying, personal statement. Like you cannot get help from someone else because they want you to tell them about yourself. So it's just giving them a background of who you are, how you were brought up, if there's anything important you feel like in your life that defines you now.
Yeah.
You know, maybe there's some processes you've gone through that define you, achievements that define you as a person. And like that's what they want to know. And I really recommend not trying to like look online to write a personal statement, because then it just falls flat. And I mean, you can tell like when someone is not really talking about themselves and like they haven't really written about their life.
Because they are scanning thousands.
Yeah.
I don't know how much depending on each country, but they have lots of like documents and they might look the same, most of them.
Exactly. Plus just think about it, like if embassy these days is just one person and university is also not that many people, like what's going to set you apart from all these other people who are applying? If you just write a generic thing, like everyone's going to write the same thing basically. So
maybe finding some, using internet to help you with the grammatical mistakes, sentences, but the whole thing, no, never ever. Maybe you can read some personal statements to note the hang of it, like how they are writing or how it's like should be written.
Structure maybe, just examples, and then do your own thing.
Put your own story.
Yeah. For the study plan, I just remember like there's like the language school, and then they tell you the major, and then like for after, ours was structured like that, 3 parts, right?
Yeah, it's written. The questions are already there though.
Yeah, so for the Korean, I just said like where I am, like, oh, I've been learning Hangul on my own, but I would like to like, start from a beginner class because I think I needed like better basics than what I'd been doing myself, So kind of highlighted like what I hope to achieve in my Korean language. How do I think I should be achieving that? Like, things like saying like I'll, watch more K-dramas, make more Korean friends, like to improve my speaking, all that, like experience Korean culture, to learn more about their culture, things like that. And for the uni, I was just saying like, this is what I plan to do, this is what I want to do for my major, why I chose my major, what interests me about it, like why do I think that major is a good fit for me? Would I fit into that, And for the future one is like, okay, so now I've studied and I've gotten my degree in Korea, so what do I want to do? Would I want to stay in Korea? Would you want to go back to your country? Those are things you should like kind of give a bit more information about. I think that's how I kind of looked at
the future. I mean, like the one day, the part like
I don't think I said like specifically like I'm gonna stay in Korea or I'm gonna go back. I just said like I would like to do this with my degree, like this is a field I think I would want to go into, like because you never know, you can't have definitive plans.
You can't really say like I do my degree and I want to stay there.
You don't know. That looks your mind might change in like you're gonna be here 5 years, 4 years. Like
I think you might have plans, guys. Like
things might change. You never know.
but you
so-
just put that thingy like your life, how your flow of your life. You look like want to
or like
go.
what do you expect for your future? That's basically that's all they're asking. Like you've gotten your degree, so what?
Okay, next, what do you want to do?
What's your next step? You know? Yeah. So
But
that's
do you think mentioning that I want to stay here like in Korea will be like
like a boost, like a bonus.
like a minus point?
Why would it be a minus point though?
I mean, like this is kind of, I don't know, like is it a
yeah, I mean,
plus
like-
point or a minus point?
Who knows these days? You know, everyone has different opinions. I would feel like because there are people who are like, oh, you know, immigration, they're taking our jobs, and there's some who are like, oh yeah, we do need people with more skills to come into the country.
Just don't
So
make it so obvious.
yeah, don't make it very political. I feel like avoid making it very.
Yeah. Just don't. I mean, don't make it sound like you wanna stay. I think, according to me, I don't know.
But I feel like I hinted at like I would be okay staying, and I would be okay if not. Like
Maybe just read like how the other people are writing, the variety of it, and choose one for yourself.
well, if you feel like it's a shaky area, just talk about your future in general.
Yeah, in general, just don't specify it like you're staying or going back. Just in general, like this is the path I want for
I
my
want
future.
to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're thinking it might be minus or plus, just choose
In the
choose
middle.
in the middle.
Don't pick a side.
Yeah, don't pick a side. You don't know who is like scanning your document. They might be
Yeah.
biased of like
Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. So, did you, like you said, you gave it to other friends to recheck it for you, right?
No, just my uncle.
Just your uncle.
Because he'd done like applications like a bunch of times. So he'd done the personal. I feel like if you can find someone who's ever done like a scholarship application, they would have a bit more experience, you know? They would know like, you know, this is something that they look for. This is like a better way to phrase this, you know, just someone to like help correct you and like be like, fix this, do this.
Yeah, that would be great. Let's go to the life in Korea. I mean, they are coming here, what should they expect? And let's talk about the hard parts and the good parts. What do you think, like, as an international student, how was your life of like this 4 years?
I mean, obviously, wherever you're gonna be, you're gonna have the good parts and the difficult parts everywhere you're gonna be, right? But I feel like the biggest thing for me, not like the hardest, but like, I mean, it is hard.
Challenging?
Like, but the biggest thing for me was, you know, you're moving your whole life away from home, somewhere you've always been comfortable, somewhere you've been used to for your whole life, and you're starting anew, you're on your own. And you know, in Korea, like even if I have a problem, like it's not like I can call my mom and be like, "Mom, I'm having," she doesn't understand my problem. My problems are in another language. Like, you see, like I had to grow up.
Adulting.
Exactly. Like I felt like back at home in Kenya, somehow I was a bit comfortable. Like, you know,
Even
I
if
was
you're
just
far
a
away.
little I was just a little bit away from home. If I had a problem, I would just call home. I go home on the weekends, you know, like just everything was how I was used to. Like, you know, I was going to the same university as my brother was. So anyways,
path
like
is already-
it was just like that, you know. But coming here was like a shock. I was just like, whoa, now I'm in control of
Everything?
my life, and I'm in control of everything, and
I have to decide everything.
I have to decide everything. I even have to decide what I want to eat in a day. And like, it was like, wow, I have to grow up. Like, kind of just took me out of being so comfortable. but I also feel like it gave me a big chance to know myself as a person.
Yeah,
Not as how I'd
exactly.
always seen myself from surrounded by family or surrounded by people I've known my whole life. So I wasn't defined by anyone else anymore. It
Yeah, it
was
was just you.
me deciding who I am and kind of learning myself, learning about myself so much more. I learned, my opinions on different things. I learned this is how I like my things.
Yeah, that is a
You know,
you learn like what
you
things you
learn
like,
what things you like, what things you don't, because you're now doing life for yourself and on your own. So you learn so much about yourself, and also like I feel like it's a huge opportunity to reinvent yourself if you feel like that's something that you need in your life, because you're coming here, no one knows you. This is a clean new slate. You get to start however you want. You get to define yourself now according to your own terms,
Yeah.
That's something. But I also just always feel like people who like immigrate to other countries to study or to get a better life, they're so brave. Like, and I think that's a really brave thing of you people like watching, that you want something better for yourself.
Yeah, if you're watching till this part.
Yeah, if you're watching, oh, thank you. If you're watching to this part, I think it's so brave of you guys to want something better for
trying
yourself
for it.
and to try and to work for something better and be like, okay, it might be challenging, but I'm going to work on it. Because I feel like one thing I always tell myself is that, I think I heard it from someone, my friend, my family, whatever, but like, good things or things that are good for you don't have to be easy. They might be so difficult, but that's what's good for you. That's what's meant for you to go through that process and shaping you. So be brave. It can be difficult. Like, honestly, I've seen so many people get so lonely here in Korea. It's one of the biggest things ever here. Like, because also, considering you have to make friends, but people have different lives. It's not like your friends will always be there. Sometimes they're busy, sometimes they have a life of their own. And you have times when you're feeling so lonely because, you're not home anymore. You don't have your parents, you don't have your siblings if you're used to them. If you're used to like not being alone, sometimes it's not the case. So, but you just tell yourself it might be difficult now, but the benefits of it, like what I'm getting from this, is like so much better. And things get better anyways. And you meet good friends, and you make friends who feel like family here.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you make your support system here. And you finally adapt. You finally learn like, oh, you learn how to use the transport system. You learn how to go banking by yourself.
How to live on budget.
Yeah, how to live on a budget, okay, like I should stop using coupon this month because I've been buying too many things, So you kind of just grow up and you learn yourself. And I think it's like all just part of the journey, and
I mean,
it's just wonderful.
Loneliness is, I think, kind of more serious here. Because you might be surrounded just with Koreans, and it's kind of challenging to find Korean friends. Because at first you're not that good at the Korean.
Oh yeah, and they're shy sometimes to speak in English.
It's kind of like you will find friends, but at first it's hard. But you should accept that it's hard and find your own community based on what you like. So yeah, just know that it gets lonely, and also be okay with it, and find something that make you less alone, and also some friends that you have, like maybe once a month you meet them, but it's a quality time. Yeah, find your own community. Just take care of your mental health so much.
Yeah, mental health, such a big thing.
Just invest, like your mental health should be above of everything. like if you're okay, like if you have a good mood and your good life, like if you invest on that parts, your academics will be okay, every other part will be also okay. So just think of your mental health a lot.
Yeah, take time to really invest in your mental health. Like, make sure always, because also school is already draining.
It's so draining.
And let's say, for example, you're listening to classes in Korean. I can't have something bothering me in my head when I need my head to be fully active, like to be listening to classes and everything. It's just gonna cascade into so many different parts of your life, and that just makes your mental health worse again. So it's really like one of the major things that you need to take care of all the time.
Yeah, and also like if you guys are coming for engineering majors, sometimes you will be the only foreigner and you might get the imposter syndrome. Did you get the imposter syndrome?
A little bit, but like, I feel like in my department, my year, we literally 2 foreigners, me and my friend. And I'm the only black person like in like all of my, I can't even miss class because like
if you're present or not, you already
clearly she's missing. Like I can't even, like I'm clearly like, and I mean, I feel like I came to Korea is when like I kind of like started thinking of myself as a black person. In Kenya it doesn't matter. Like no one is ever gonna think like, oh, you're black, because we're all the same color. Like, and then I came here as like, oh, damn,
I'm different.
Yeah, being like you learn like, oh wow, I'm different. But honestly, I haven't experienced any racism or any discrimination against it. Like it's just that feeling.
It's just like
it's
inside
just, yeah, like just something like just realizing that I'm a bit different from everybody. And sometimes just old people on the subway staring at you, but that's it. That's it. Just
like you might feel like you are different, and also so just try to not take those feelings. I mean,
and maybe sometimes you feel like the way you think is different from people, like from them, or like what you're used to obviously is different from them. So
the whole
everything is different,
and you are different. And what I do is like what I used to do is like I was thinking of this being different as a negative point when I started, and that is when you say like it is an imposter. But if you think of it like, okay,
of course you're going to be different.
You are different, and think of it like how you're like saying it's okay, like I'm different. Not this. You should be like, wow, I'm different. Yeah, I'm different.
As
like,
a plus.
I'm like, yeah, I'm the only person. This is be like, if you have like this attitude, oh my god, you will be like using your being the only foreigner as a plus point. You'll have such a great life. Your confidence will go up. For me, my first semester, I used to be like, oh my god, I'm the only foreigner. I'm just like this. But like I got tired of it so much because it was really like draining me, the whole energy.
Honestly, these days I don't care. Like I feel like I never even noticed. Like I just go into class. Honestly, school is already kicking my ass, so I just literally all I'm caring about.
For me too, like first semester, everything is hard, and you have those feelings also, and it's making it harder. So if you're like coming, just don't. You're different, and you're different. So just be okay with it and just use that as a plus point for yourself. And just be confident. You're like someone special, that you're like here out of like the whole student, you're the only foreigner. So just take all those things as a positive point. You'll have a great journey here. Is there anything you wanna like you experienced and you want them to not experience, or something you want to tell them?
Honestly, I haven't had like any like negative experiences here. It's just like life and school, just all that. But I mean, I feel like if you get the opportunity, just take it.
It's a great opportunity.
Come experience life. And honestly, GKS is like one of the best scholarships ever. The fact that they give you a stipend, monthly stipend as well. And I
Monthly
mean, like,
stipend, and it's like the most famous scholarship
it's
here.
yeah, honestly, it is like a good one. So you get the opportunity, take it. Just take it.
And it's worth your whole like time investment, and it's like
It's worth
your
everything.
effort. Yeah. If you're like watching till the end, go get it. You can do it.
You can do it. We definitely believe in you.
Yeah. And hope you're having a great journey of applying, and until the next year you have so much time, because when I'm uploading this video still you have so much time. So just start early, prepare the documents earlier, and go get it. And thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for
Thank you
giving
for having
your time.
me.
It's gonna be so helpful for the students who are coming to SKKU or like thinking of applying for SKKU. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you guys for watching until the end, and hope to see you with another episode, another country, and another university. Comment down what you liked and what you want for other episodes, and which university should I go for it. Or also, if you have a specific person that you want me to interview, just comment down. I will try my best to invite them to the Your GKS Bestie series. And show your love, and thank you so much. Love you guys. Bye